Hi there, and welcome to another video in the Become a Mum Blogger video series. Last time we covered starting a blog, and in this video, which is our second, we'll be covering posts, pages, and layout. So the first thing we're going to cover is pages, and I'm going to take you straight over to my blog as we're going to use that as an example. Hi, so the screen that we're looking at now is the dashboard of the Become a Mum Blogger blog, which is a fairly new blog, and I'm going to use this one as the example. So what we're looking at is pages. So if you go down here, you can see we've got our posts here, and we're going to look at pages. And firstly, actually, what I'm going to do is show you the front page of littlemummy.com so I can show you what I mean by a page. So this here is a post, these are posts, and all of this is posts. These here are the pages. They are static. They usually are for the most important information that you would like to have displayed all the time. So for mine, I have my 100 things to do list, which I keep there and I mark off as I go. You can see what a page looks like. It just looks exactly like a post when you go inside it, and there's my list. I have an about page, which is one of the ones we're going to focus on today. As you can see, it's got a bit about me, which is the point of your about page. It's meant to give people just a quick introduction about yourself, and I've got a picture here. I've got an advertise page. I've got my Mum Blogger e-course here. I've got a press page, and the other page we're going to cover today, because we're just going to cover about and contact, and you can add pages as you go. Once you know how to do one, it's easy to add as many as you like. And this is my contact page. I use this plugin here, which is called WP-Contact plugin, and if you install that plugin, or you get your technical expert to install that plugin, it means that it gives you this form for people to fill in instead of putting your email address there. But either or works, to be honest. So going back behind the scenes, these are the 3 pages I have on Become a Mum Blogger. I've got, as I can see, the most important 2, about, contact, and the Mum Blogger e-course. So I'm going to have a little look inside about. So you'd create a new page by clicking up here. I've got my HTML version on. If you're a new blogger, you may wish to use the visual, which allows you to see what you're doing better. Once you have typed in here and you've given your about page the about title, then you can publish your post. Now this would usually be a publish button on a brand new blog, or on a brand new page rather. I've got an update button, so you can click that. Now say for example you've got an about page but you wanted to add an additional page instead of having lots and lots of different pages. Say for, let's use the example actually of terms and conditions. Say for example you're selling something on your site and you want to put terms and conditions, and you don't want to have a brand new header at the top. You can have a drop down list. I'm just going to give you an example of what I mean by this. If I go to becomeamumpreneur.com, which is one of our other blogs, I can show you what a drop down list. There we go. There's a drop-down list. This is what I mean. See here we've got terms and conditions, privacy policy, meet the team, link to us, disclaimer, advertise. Now, if you want a list like that as opposed to a new page appearing here, what you would do is create a parent. So I would put here that the parent was about, and then I would have my terms and conditions page. And that's how you do that. You can also set the order for your drop-down list by changing the numbers here. So that's your about page, and I'm just going to quickly show you the contact page, which looks like this. As you can see, this is just a little piece of code that we've got in here. This is from the plugin, and it's got the template. Obviously, if you just had a bit of writing and your email address, then that would appear here. And again, it's a case of publishing or updating. So we'll click away from that. Okay, and we'll close some of these. And I want to show you 2 other blogs just to give you an idea of what different blogs look like, because I don't want to show you my blog all the time, because you might have different people do it different ways, and my way is not necessarily the best. So I've got us onto a larger family life blog here, which this lady volunteered to have her blog shown. This is her about page. And she's got a media requests, advertising, reviews, and our book page. Have a little look at our book page. This is something that you can do if you decide that you're starting a blog to promote a book, then you can do that on another page. And finally, the contact page. Now, this is an example of one that doesn't have a contact template plugin. As you can see, she's just put a contact by email. You can even have this as a link as well. So if you click that link, then you would get taken to your email, the email that you use, and then you can type the email directly. But this is just name there, and also an address. So that's Larger Family Life. And Smiling Like Sunshine, again, we've got an About Me page. See, almost every blog has an About Me and contact page, and I would say that it is really important to have both of these pages. A contact page, again, we're just using the email address here rather than the template, but we have added in Twitter and Facebook, and that's a great idea to add that. Some people also like to add their Twitter and Facebook in their sidebar as well, which we'll cover a little bit later on in this video. And we've also got an advertise page, which we'll have a quick look at before we move on to posts, and this will give some vital statistics about the blog and the kinds of advertising. So that's pages, and we're now going to move on to our next topic. So we've covered pages, and the next thing we're going to cover in this video is posts. So here we are back behind the scenes in the dashboard of Become a Mum Blogger, and we're talking about creating your very first post. So whether you're in Blogger or you're in WordPress, it's much the same. The new post button will be around here somewhere in Blogger, and you just click that, and a blank page will be brought up for you. Now, a post is basically an article, if you think of it like that. It's just the one article. So to start with, you can write your title in here. So I'm just going to use title, and then you put your content in here. Now, I'm not going to cover links or images, as we'll be doing that next time. So I'm just going to show you how to do a very, very basic blog post. So you'll need your title. You're going to want to put your content in here, which is going to be, for now, your text. And then what you need to do is create categories. So if your blog is a food blog, then you might want to have categories such as starters, main courses, desserts. This blog is about mum blogging. So we have Mum Blogger Experiences, blogging for beginners, the Mum Blogger e-course, and you just basically check which category or which categories your post applies to. You can also then add your tags, which are keywords that your blog post is about. So if your blog post is about a recipe for sausage casserole, you might put in main course, sausage casserole, winter cooking, that kind of thing. And then once you're happy with your post, you can preview it by clicking this button here, which will show you an exact replica of how it will look on the blog. And then finally, you can publish your blog post. Now, if you don't want to publish it immediately, you can go in and edit your timestamp here and change it to the date you do want to edit it. Otherwise, you can just publish it and you're off and away. And obviously you can see here that's your trash button. If you decide that your blog post is rubbish, as we often do sometimes, then you can click the trash button, and you never have to look at it again. And you can start all over again by clicking your new post button, which should be up here. Our final topic for this video will be blog layout and navigation. I'm going to flip the screen now, and I'll take you through this topic on one of my blogs. So when you're creating your first blog, it's really important to think of it from the point of view of your reader, and making it really easy for them to access the content that they want. So in terms of layout, it's normal to have some sort of banner, that area up here. It's then normal to have this area here, which is your pages, as we have discussed earlier on, and this allows people to find out basically who you are quite quickly and what you're up to. On my particular blog, and blogs have various layouts, here instead of the sidebar starting here, what I've got is a featured area, which leads people to other blog posts in the archives. And then, get rid of that. to scroll down and you can see that there are other blog posts here. Then I've got my RSS feed, which we're going to cover in another video, but here are some extra posts that people might find interesting that they can click on. I've also got my follow me here, which is on Twitter. You can also have Facebook here if you choose to do that. I've got some adverts there, and then my groups. And then I've got a tag cloud, and you can add this by going into your widgets area and dragging over the tag cloud. And this basically, if they click on any one of these categories, they will be taken to all the posts on those categories. So let's, for example, click on parenting, and we'll see what happens. Basically what you get is the full list of any article that's been tagged with parenting, and that's why it's important to tag your posts, which we discussed in the last section. And finally, we've got categories here, a list of categories instead of the tag cloud. These are the categories that we checked. So that's the reason why you're checking categories, so people can easily pick something. I would probably say that this category list is probably a bit long. I need to cut that down a little bit. And then finally, archives. As you can see, I've been going for 5 and a bit years, so we've got lots of archives there, but this allows people to check through and see what you've been up to in the past. At the bottom here, I've also got recent posts, which people can have a look at. The posts that have got the most comments, usually competitions, and then you've got your site admin, your entries if people want to RSS down here as well. So that's basically your blog layout. Not every blog is the same. I'm just going to give you a quick look at one other blog just now that is laid out differently to my own. This is englishmum.com. Just wait for it to load. Doesn't usually take this long, it's just because we're filming a video. And here she's got the same banner as myself here with our various different pages. And if we scroll down, we can see that we've got subscribe here, we've got some an image gallery that you can click on. Because this is a cookery blog predominantly, we've got a weights and measures easy reference a button there that you can click on, which is really good. We've got some badges here. Facebook, important. A few lists that she's a part of, top 10 lists and things. And then we've got the food tag cloud, which is done slightly differently to my own, but the same sort of idea. This is a little bit more fancy than mine actually. It's quite fun to play with. And what else have we got? Recent comments, we've got the archives. So in general, you can see that most blogs will have the same sort of things that are necessary to help people to navigate your blog, and because people get to the point where they understand how to read a blog because they've been on lots of blogs. If yours is very, very different, it might leave people feeling quite confused. So it's important to pick out what the most important things are in terms of navigation. And for me, those would be an about page, a contact page, categories, perhaps a tag cloud, and definitely archives.